All right, so in the break here, I have changed my water. You want to change your water when you can no longer mix like a pure color. So if my watercolor was gonna make my yellow kind of reddish, then I want to change it. I've also taken the time to wipe up all of my paint from the last video, so I have a nice clean workspace here. I'm gonna be mixing a lot of colors, so I need some space. All right, so we are gonna mix a color wheel. I want you to practice making all of the colors because there are a lot of colors you could make, and I've only given you 3. So I want you to practice mixing the colors that you would need. So I'm actually gonna switch to my smaller brush for a lot of this because I can already see that I'm painting inside these little wedges, and that's a pretty tight area. So use the brush that you feel is appropriate for you, but I'm gonna switch to a smaller one here. All right, so we have our color wheel. I've kind of abbreviated things. R is red, O is orange. So we have red, red, orange, orange, yellow, yellow, green, green, blue, blue, violet, and violet, AKA purple here. So let's start off easy. We have the 3 primary colors we know are red, yellow, and blue. And those are on my color wheel. They require absolutely no mixing. So let's start there. So I have my little puddle of red. And again, this is an exercise in control. You don't want to have a ton of water. You're not creating a puddle on your paper. It's just enough to moisten the paint and for that paint to be transparent. It's not thick, it's not goopy, it's not shiny. We have our little slice of red. Now we have our little slice of blue. And I'm painting pretty fast here because I don't want this to be a 45-minute video. So absolutely keep pausing this if you need to. You do not need to be painting as fast as me. I would rather you take your time and be neat about it. All right, and now we have yellow. If you see my yellow, it's kind of crappy. It's got like a little bit of blue in here. Oh my goodness, sorry, I keep hitting that stand. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take my damp brush here, and it's just a teeny little bit of water, and I'm just very, very gently tapping some of that blue crap out of there. All right, so I have my little puddle of yellow. So dry time doesn't matter for these 3 because they're not touching each other. We're gonna start to work strategically here, so we're not painting things that are wet next to each other. That way we can just keep painting. All right, so 3 primaries. Let's move on to our secondary colors, orange, violet, and green. Orange, violet, and green aren't touching anything either, and they're not touching their primaries, they're not touching each other. We could very safely paint those right now because this stuff isn't dry. So let's start with orange. We know that orange is red and yellow mixed half and half, and that creates orange. So I already have red here. I'm just gonna take some yellow and add it to my red. That looks not orangey enough. Looks too reddish. Add a little bit more. There we go. It's a pretty good orange. That's gonna go in my little slice of orange here. Okay, I'm gonna leave that orange there because I know that later I'm gonna have to paint red orange and yellow orange. And if I already have an orange mixed, well, I've already done half the work. Violet is my next one. So I already have blue out. I'm just gonna add a little bit of red to it. I think I made it too reddish. Need to add some blue back. There we go. So you don't want it to be too reddish or too bluish because we still have to make red violet and blue violet. So it's gotta be like a pretty middle of the ground violet color. Notice I'm not going out of my lines here, and still not super wet, not a puddle. All right, and then my last one is green. I already have yellow. We know that green is made by blue and yellow. So all I need to do is just add a little bit of blue. And now I have green. So the very first color I painted was like this red, and my orange is actually pretty dry right now, so I'm gonna go back to this area because this stuff I know is pretty dry. So we want red orange and yellow orange. Well, I already have orange, so I'm actually gonna take some of this and like scoop it into another pile. Then I can add a little bit of yellow to one pile and make my yellow orange, and I can add a little bit of red to my other pile and make red orange. So this red orange doesn't look like red, it doesn't look like orange, it's its own thing here. When I put it in this little slice, it doesn't look like either color. That's what you want. You want all 12 of these colors to be different. And if you're not sure if your color is like different enough or not, you can always, I think I need more yellow orange, so there we go. You can always like take your paintbrush and you could put like a little dot somewhere and you could see, you know, like, is that gonna be a good choice? So my yellow orange is just like a touch of orange. Doesn't look like my yellow or my orange. All right. So the last, green's still a little wet. Violet's pretty okay. So I'm gonna do my blue violet and red violet. I already have my violet here. So again, add a little bit of water to it here. So I mix some more. We have 2 violets now. So I'm gonna add a little touch of red to one of them to make red violet. Notice how my colors on my color wheel, they're not, like one's not really, really vibrant and the next one is like a super, super washed out tint. They're all like equally as vibrant, so that's what you want here. And then we have blue violet. So in my other little puddle of blue, my other little puddle of violet, I'm gonna add some blue. I think I just added too much blue, so I'm gonna add a little bit of red back. There we go. That looks too violet. Sometimes you just need to play around with it, adjust a little bit. There we go. So I'll do a little tester spot. That doesn't look like my blue or my violet, so I'm good. Right. My last one is green. I had green here, but to be honest, it's probably not enough green, so I'm just gonna mix myself some more green. And already that one looks more like yellowy to me, so I'm just gonna call that my yellow green. I'm gonna add a little bit more yellow to it even. There we go. So now we have yellow green. And this one, I'm gonna add just a little bit of blue back into it to make it more bluish green. There we go. All right, I'm actually gonna make this a third video because this is getting kind of long. So take your time, do your color wheel. If you mess up, just put a little like X through the wedge or something, and then put like an extra, you know, like little swatch of color like on the outside or something like that. If you mess up like super hardcore, just draw yourself another color wheel on a page in your sketchbook or something, and completely redo it. And then when you submit it, just submit like this page plus your extra color wheel. I would very much rather you have to redo it and submit 2 photos than do this completely wrong.